The machines versus free weight debates always seems to circle back around. What is best for athletes, building muscle, or general fitness? What should you use based on your goals? Simply, both. Just how much of each and where to start depends on your objectives. So let's cover a few quick pros and cons for each as a comparative list. Then use that to give practical recommendations for a few different scenarios. Machines are super easy to learn and overload. Technique isn't a big factor, so someone with no experience can hop on and pretty much do things correctly the first session. Free weights are much harder to learn since you have to control the weight. That takes lots of lighter repetitions and focus on how you're actually moving. Often feedback from a coach or videoing yourself is needed to make sure things are going correctly. 2. Building muscle and strength. For building muscle and general strength, both do a great job. As long as you are stable enough to push hard and create muscle tension, there isn't a clear winner on this metric. Use whatever you can train the hardest and most consistently. 3. Transfer to life. Free weights are going to transfer to life much better because life requires you moving your body and objects through space unattached to a machine. This is true whether you're an athlete pushing an opponent or an old lady doing daily activities like picking up a box from the floor. Now that we have covered the major areas people care about from the gym, let's cover some good rules of thumb to clarify what you as an individual should do. The more coordinated you need to be, the more free weights you should do. An athlete needs much more coordination for sport than a bodybuilder or someone just looking to be healthy and fit for daily life. Free weights should be the go-to for an athlete 90% of the time. Some machines though are still great for athletes. Remember, all training methods are tools. If there's a machine that allows you to do something better, use it. Bodybuilders or those just training for physique should use a nice mix of free weights and machines. Most should start with a higher percentage of free weights, especially if you are young and just starting to lift. It's important you develop the ability to lift free weights and just understand how to move through space. Also, developing a good mind-muscle connection or learning to feel the target muscles working with free weights makes it much easier to do the same on machines. It's your foundation. Then build on that, experimenting with combinations of machine movements and free weights. Despite what the internet says, there's no singular best exercise or movement. Free weights aren't better than machines or vice versa. Start with something reasonable and that's proven to work, and then experiment. We have a video on switching exercises that might help you with when to make changes. Just be aware that free weights are harder technically because the movement isn't guided. It'll take a little longer to get those down and feeling comfortable, but that increased coordination will give you a solid base as you become more advanced. For those not looking to compete in anything or train at a super high level, especially if older, machines are a great place to start. However, many would suggest you stay there. I don't. Life doesn't happen attached to fixed movements. You have to move your body and objects through real space. However, this group often benefits from starting with mostly machines, maybe 80–90% of their training, and slowly moving to free weights. They're often less coordinated and fit than, say, a young athlete. Machines allow them to get started right away with movements that they can learn and overload. It's much easier for them to progress and start gaining confidence. Then slowly transition to do things like squats instead of leg presses, or bench pressing instead of a chest press. Regress the movement as much as needed. I like starting with something like pin deadlifts and slowly lowering it to the floor. Training is about progression, not perfection. Start with something comfortable and expand outward over time. The internet loves to have debates on things that don't actually matter. It drives clicks. The most important thing for your fitness journey is that you love it and stay consistent. So machines versus free weights? Use both. Start with what you feel most comfortable using, get consistent, and then experiment.